In this lesson, I'm going to demonstrate moving forward the concepts of widgets and menus within our WordPress platform. So far, I've explained the concept between posts and pages. We have also developed and edited a certain page using HTML language. Next, I'm going to show you what the widgets and menus mean under the appearance option. So widgets, like I mentioned, recall, are just like blocks, right, where you can use and implement on your website. So first, I'm going to talk about widgets. So let me go ahead and click on widgets here. And it takes you to the widgets page, where on the left side, it'll show you the available widgets. And to activate any one of these, for example, archives, calendar, custom menu, categories, and so forth, we simply drag and drop on the right section of the same screen. So at present, we have certain widgets in place, such as search, recent posts, comments, archives, and so on. These are all part of the sidebar widget. And then of course we have our About Us section, footer 1, footer 2, and so on. And each of these, if I click on the drop down arrow, you will see some sample text as part of these widgets, right? So you can customize them as per your own requirement. But first, how do we know which widgets are being used on our website? In order to see that, let's navigate to our website. In other words, let me click on our Visit Website, right click, open a new tab, and here's what our page looks like so far. So we have a title here, nice logo, and then of course our menu displays two things, home page and sample page. And on the right side, you'll notice these look very familiar. All of this information, the recent posts, comments, archives, categories, meta, for instance, is coming from, if I were to go back to my dashboard, coming from my sidebar. So if I change anything in my sidebar and update, it will update accordingly on the web page. For instance, let me click on the drop down arrow next to meta here, and then I'm not interested in this to be displayed on the page. So I'm just going to click delete, and it's going to delete this section from the web page. If I go to my web page again and simply refresh, notice there's no more meta option here. Similarly, if I navigate back, click on categories and delete this option. Similarly, I can delete the recent comments, for example. And don't worry, they don't disappear. We can always add them back. Okay. And recent posts, since we're doing a web development page, right? We're creating our own e-commerce website eventually. We don't require any posts to be displayed on our page, and we don't want any archives either. So I'm going to delete everything except the search bar. So if I go back to my page here and simply reload, you'll notice pretty much everything disappears, which is nice. So we start off with a fresh blank page, essentially. So widgets are pretty powerful, and of course you can use some of these widgets as well, or you can ignore them if you choose to. You can add more widgets. So if I need to have, let's say, a text menu here, I can simply drag and drop by going up in the About Us section, for example, and give it a title such as Meet Our Team, and of course type the text, this is our team. And you can use HTML tags here as well. So if I need to make this bold, for example, I can use the tag B and then close the tag with a \B, and then of course my less than and greater than sign in between. Click Save, and within the About Us section, we just added a widget call that contains the text Meet Our Team. So if I were to navigate to my website, refresh, go to my sample page. So here we've just added the About Us section and a widget. It may not display on the page at this point. We need to do our settings, and depending upon our own layout and settings, we would then adjust the widgets accordingly. But you can create as many as you like. Next, I want to show you the menus. So under Appearance, and if I click on Menus, I'll be navigated to the Menus page here. And here, for instance, our menu structure is displayed. For example, right now, my home page, I have a couple of home pages. Let's take a look at what those are. It looks like they're being duplicated, so I can just simply delete one of them. Let's say if I remove one of these, and I have my sample page here. So I have two sets of menus, my home page and sample page. And once again, if I go back to my site, here are the two menus, my home page and sample page. So let me reload and make sure we have our home page and our sample page. If I click on sample page, I'll be navigated to this page. And if I click on home page, I'll go back to my main site page. Great. So let's go back. So this way you can simply work with your menus as well. If you need to add a menu or a link to the menu, you could do so by either going to posts or custom links or categories. So for example, if I were to go back to my pages here, my recent pages are home and sample page. Now notice these are the only two pages that we have so far on our website. So if you need to add a third page to this menu, obviously it makes sense to have the page first and then add that page to your menu structure, right? So for example, I have the home and sample page, right? If I need to have the About Us page, I need to first create a page by going to pages, right? So you need to have a page or a number of pages before you can start adding them to your menu structure. So let me in fact go ahead, quickly demonstrate. So let's click on pages. Of course, WordPress says, do you wish to save the changes, because I've changed the menu structure. So I'm going to say stay on this page, and I'm going to click on create menu. And then let me navigate back to pages, and let's create a new page by simply clicking on add new. And WordPress comes up with a new page. I can give it a title. I can say something like About Us. And at the bottom here, meet our team. And of course, since I'm in the text tab, I can use the HTML tags, right? I can either manually do so, such as I like to display them in bold, or I can go to the visual editor and then change it accordingly by highlighting it and using the italic font. So either way that you're comfortable with. If you wish to code in HTML, then of course you would use the text tab. And once you're done, let's preview first before we publish this page. So just to take a look at how this page is going to look like. So it's going to look like About Us and then meet our team. Great. Let's go back and then finally publish this page. So now we have, if I go back to pages, notice WordPress displays 3 pages: About Us, home page, and then sample page. Now if I were to go back to the menu by going to appearance and then menus, notice my About Us page is displayed as the most recent. If not, I can always view all and it will give me all the pages, right? Or the most recent one displays just the list of the pages that I've been working with recently. So I'm going to select About Us, and then I'm going to click on Add to Menu. And what this would do is automatically add a new item on this menu called About Us. And if I click on the drop down arrow, it just shows me the label. I can always change it here as well. I can move up one under the samples page, for example. If I don't want a separate menu, I can move it under the sample page here, and so on. So once I'm done, of course, I need to click on Save Menu here on the bottom. Now let's go back to our site, refresh, and here's our new menu called About Us. So now I have home page, I have my sample page, and I have the About Us page. And my URL reflects accordingly. The new page name is About Us. How do I know this? If I go back to my WordPress, go to my pages, click on About Us page, and notice here's the URL. And of course, I can always edit the permalink. In other words, it's a permanent link for my page. And once we get to the SEO part later on in this course, I'll demonstrate an effective strategy on naming your pages and so on. But you can always call it My Team or Team Page or About Us page and so on. So in this lesson, I wanted to demonstrate the concept of widgets and menus and how you can customize your WordPress environment. So practice, and let's move to our next lesson.